And I'll send this out. Okay. All right. Well, welcome back to the Geek Group. And let's read our disclaimer here. Topics, properties, and investments discussed are for educational purposes only. We do not sell securities. Each investor is responsible for their own decisions and must evaluate investments according to their investment risk tolerances. Opinions expressed are those of speakers and no one else. So tonight to introduce our speaker, and it's a return speaker, and I think one of the few return speakers so far. So that's a distinction. Thank you for that. Is David Selvin. David is a real estate investor and residential redeveloper, a realtor, and also a realtor who renovates single-family properties around the San Francisco Bay Area and in Kansas City and Milwaukee. He wholesales properties in those areas as well. And I think a part that's not in this that I know for sure about David is he owns units himself. Also, at least a couple of fourplexes I know of. And he's here to speak to you about Bob Proctor's Human Development Program, which he was just in and is very excited about. And I love seeing you can see humans grow. I think that's a part of what we're looking at tonight. So with that, welcome back, David.
Thank you. I should see everybody clapping. No,
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Hold the applause till next.
That's, man,
Well, first off,
we need an
okay.
applause machine. We need that. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
Well, first off, I want to say, you said Bob Proctor. I wasn't with Bob Proctor over the weekend. I was with a gentleman by the name of Marshall Silver. And I also like to take this time to say, rest in power, Bob Proctor, because he
Yeah,
just passed away last week. He passed away last Thursday. That was sad to me because Bob Proctor was very influential in changing my life. I think I told you guys before, a little bit of my history. My history is a little different than a lot of people. Back in 2009, I was homeless. Sleeping in cars with my wife, my two daughters. My son was not even born yet. I mean, we were staying motels, if you want to call it that, when we could, just scraping together whatever we could. I had an opportunity that went south, and I'm one of those people. I guess you could say I'm a full-time entrepreneur because I'm one of those people that is all money in. Meaning, when I see opportunity, it's go time. It's like, hey, I'm either gonna win big or I'm gonna lose, and it's gonna be bad. And I'm not thinking about losing, so I'm gonna win. And I think that mindset is what also propelled me to go from that to where I'm living now and how I'm living, the neighborhood I'm living in, and people that surround me. And I'm very, 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 very grateful for my life. If any of you guys ever come to the Bay Area, you will have the opportunity to hang out with me and see how my life is and see that, hey, it's just all fun and it's all about enjoying life. And part of that was the gentleman I'm going to speak of tonight, Marshall Silver. He helped me, and what I'll do is I'll put in the chat a link where you could go watch a webinar to learn more about him, maybe tonight or tomorrow, whenever you get a chance. And you guys can learn more about him and what he does. Basically, he's actually a hypnotist. He actually is known for hypnotizing people. I first seen this man. I went to a real estate wealth expo back in 2018, and it was one of those events that says learn real estate coming to a town near you. At the time, I was in real estate. I was still kind of fairly new. I jumped in. I think I bought my first property in 2016, but I kind of really jumped in 2017. And then so this was like around late 2017, early 2018. Actually, I think the Wealth Expo was in 2017, and then I went to Marshall Silver's event after that. But I first met him there, or seen him there. I didn't meet him yet, but I seen him there. And they had Tony Robbins there and all these other people trying to sell their real estate courses and things like that. And they had all these little breakout rooms. So I went into the main room and there was no seats. The place was packed. So then I started going to some of the little breakout rooms. And I walked in this room and there was people on the stage and he was like snapping their fingers and I'm like, and I looked at the lady at the door. I said, what the heck is this? And then she's like, oh, he's hypnotizing them. And so my business partner at the time, he's 7-day Adventist. That's why I asked that, because a lot of what you said, Max, reminded me of traditions that he does. And so when minute she said hypnotize, he said, oh no, this is the devil's work, and ran out the room. And I stayed and I watched, and I always, and then it was like a 3-day event or 2-day event, something like that. And on the next day, the gentleman got on the main stage and spoke, and a lot of what he talked about, I could relate to. You know, he talked about himself being homeless with his family. He talked about, you know, he had a rags to riches type of story, and I just really felt like I was just magnetically pulled to him. You know, so obviously, you know, maybe he hypnotized me. And I went to the back of the room and I bought the Turning Point course, which is also what I'm going to talk about. And basically, what it said was, it was like, I think it was like $1,200 or something like that. You buy this Turning Point course, and you can come back to Turning Point as many times as you want, you know, for the rest of the night. So me and my wife were just like, that's a no-brainer. We can keep going back. Let's just go. We're very, 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 very big on mindset, because that's what changed my life, was changing the way I think. And I feel like all of us, everybody on this call, if you're struggling to get a deal, if we're struggling to move forward, everything we're doing, it's only our mental blockages that's holding us back. Whether we're talking about this gentleman, Marshall Silver, whether we're talking about Bob Proctor, whether we're talking about Tony Robbins, all of them tell me the same thing. Even if you read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, it always talks about that 80% or 90% is mindset, and then the rest is skill level. And I believe strongly. I mean, I wouldn't say 90, but I believe strongly that 80% is mindset, 20% is skill. Because I know some wealthy, dumb mother, you know what, if you know what I mean. And when I sit there and talk to these people, I'm like, how is this guy at a whole nother level than me? But I know for a fact, I know more than this guy. Well, the reason is he applies. He's certain and confident. And that's what these courses teach you. And that's what Turning Point helped teach me. So when I went to the first Turning Point, it was in 2018. And that's what it taught you, basically, just to be confident, to be certain in your ways and actions, and to move through everything with confidence. And I instantly went with just a little bit of things that I learned there. I think at the time I was making about, I'll just be straight transparent with you guys. At the time I was making maybe about 90,000, a year. And I instantly went next year, made 400,000, so it's like going from that to that. I feel like that was a major, major piece. It might not have been the only piece, but it was a major piece. I mean, some of the things we did was like, for example, this is my wood board. This is the one I just broke 2 weeks ago. But the original board I broke was from 2018. And you write down the amount of money you wanted to make on the board on one side, and then on the other side, what's stopping you from making that? And then he teaches you how to break through this thick piece of wood. And this is wood. This is wood. And when I was seeing people get on the stage breaking the board, I'm like, nah, man, that's fake wood. That's like, nah. I'm one of those skeptics. I'm always looking like, how they doing it, and so I was watching it. But then, sure enough, I broke the board. Then I thought, nah, they got the wood cut a certain way so it breaks easy. But then, there was probably about a third of the room that could not break through their board because they couldn't break through this. So it's things like that. Eating fire. How many people would eat fire? I sat back, ate fire, and it's like to prove to you that you could go through anything. So I actually put it on my screensaver on my phone. So let's see, where these so you can see it. If you look at my phone here, it's me eating fire. And the reason I put that there is anytime, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys deal with this. There might be times you might have to call a broker. There might be times there's other things you have to do in life, or negotiate, or things that you're just worried about doing. And then you'll put it off. For me, my biggest thing is, you guys see in the background, like these wooden cases here. These are cigar cases. I love cigars. And so that's my whole thing. My whole thing is, shoot, I got to do this. It's on my calendar. My calendar, blink, bing, pops up on my phone. And I look, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this now. But then anxiety sets in. And when anxiety sets in, now I'm like, man, I guess that could wait. I'm going to go smoke a cigar. And I'll go outside, smoke a cigar, or or find something. Oh, you know what? I got to check some emails. We all fall a victim to that. But with this on my phone, I at it, and it's mind power. that, man, I got power and I could break anything, any obstacle in life. I could break through it. It's just up to me to do it. And that's what that's there to remind me of. So that's, was my first experience with him. Fast forward, COVID hit, a lot of things shut down, a lot of events, seminars, and things shut down. And I mean, in between that time, I went to a couple of little events, and I went back to see this man maybe about 2 weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago. I wanted to bring my daughter. My daughter's home from college, and just wanted to bring her. She's trying to find what's her next calling in life. And so I'm like, let's check this out. Now here I am. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not one of these guys that's Harvard degree. I'm not somebody who PhD. I don't even have 4 years of college. I don't even have a high school diploma. I got a GED diploma. But you know what? I got enough certainty to know I can do anything anybody else does. Anything. Henry Ford had a third grade education, was one of the wealthiest men in the world. What does that tell you? So, I'm looking at my daughter and letting her know, you don't necessarily need school. That's, certain things are for certain people. It wasn't for me. It might not be for you. So, I'm like, you know what? I think this event will help. So we took a trip down there, just me and my daughter. And we go there, and it was a reminder how amazing this event was, how many breakthroughs I had. And it turned out I ended up getting invited to his mastermind, which was last weekend at his house in Carlsbad. He had a house in Carlsbad on the water. And I went down there, and it was just such an amazing event. I mean, it was something as simple as I took the first night. He took us for dinner that night, and when we're at the restaurant, I'm ordering a drink. He walks in after me, and I shook his hand. I said, my man, thank you. And he said, for what? And I said, look, tonight I've already met two people that were here that's going to change my life forever. And the reason being is you're around so many successful people. And one thing I realized is that when the more successful, so here's the thing, right? I have friends from all spectrums. I have friends that are very, very wealthy. I also have friends that are, below the poverty line. And one thing I would say is the difference. I love everybody. Everybody's my friend. But the difference between the two is my wealthy friends, they won't flinch about paying for an education, paying for seminars, things like that. My friends below the poverty line, they make fun of me for going to seminars and presentations and things like that. I even had family tell me, like, when I started getting involved in real estate, I had a family member tell me, man, you going to more of them seminars, man, they just stealing your money, selling you hope. But for me, those seminars changed my life. So yeah, you damn right I'm going to go, and I'm going to continue to go because these seminars changed my life. So everybody here, I don't know if we're all RE mentor students, but we all paid for some sort of education to bring us all in this Zoom room today. And so just know that no matter what doubts you have or what doubts people try to bring to you, that you're on the right track, you're on the right path, and you just got to keep pushing forward. And that's what it was a reminder of this weekend. I mean, I'm in a room with people where it was like, all right, like we sat in his he has like a little movie theater down in the basement of his home. And we're sitting in the movie theater, I'm in the back, reclining my seat, and it's like, all right, what's your Achilles heel? And I heard somebody say, I only netted $1 million this year. And he's like, well, what do you want to net? I want to net 5 million, And it's like hearing like things like that, it's like, wow, It's like, wow, okay. He's doing it, I could do it. So when you surround yourself, success leaves clues. When you surround yourself around success, you will be successful. And that was the biggest takeaway. That was the biggest thing I got. I met one person that's going to help me revamp. I used to have a lot of Airbnbs before COVID. They're going to help me revamp that because I haven't started back up. They're going to help me with that. I met and it's a barter system. In turn, I'm going to help him, do some things with his credit. There was another person that I met there. They're in a market that I've always wanted to get into. They're in Cleveland. I always wanted to do like flips and do different things out in Cleveland. And they're out there, and they're crushing it out there. They're making a ton of money out there. Now this is my connect out there. you know, and those were the two people. I was like, you know, just these two people alone is going to change my life forever. You know, so that was the biggest takeaway. The next was when you meet somebody as successful as Marshall Silver. I mean, I literally, while we're sitting there and I'm at his house all weekend, I literally watched this guy net $500,000 from another seminar that's going on from somebody else teaching that seminar for him. And in one weekend, $500,000. And when you see somebody like that's doing that, but at the same time, you know, you sit next to this guy eating dinner, and you're farting, and it's just, you're like, wait a second, this guy's an ordinary guy. That's why I say that. You know, this guy's an ordinary guy, just like me, just like you, just like anybody else. And again, it boils back down. Man, if he could freaking do this, then I could freaking do this. You know, and then that's just really, that was the biggest takeaway. That was my breakthrough there. And also, I was wondering why, like, the first night we went to dinner, he took us to this cool restaurant. In fact, if you guys, especially West Coast, like Max, I know you're on the West Coast. If you guys ever come on the West Coast, there's a restaurant in La Jolla. We went to this restaurant in La Jolla called Mystique. That's the name of it. And it's like a magic show at the dinner table. Like, you eat this 5-course meal, and then the guy's like at the head of the table doing these magic tricks. And I'm like, all right, I know he's a hypnotist, he's into magic and things like that, but we're watching this first night. Then the second night, what was it, the second night? Well, it was one of the nights, though. He had his friend, because like I said, he used to be into the magic and show business and stuff like that. So he said, you know what, I'm going to bring in one of my mentors to top me. And it was this old guy that looked like Santa Claus coming in there. And he started, we was eating dinner at this nice Italian restaurant. And he just came in and he said, eat dinner with us. Then after dinner, he just started doing these magic tricks at the table. And I'm like, why the heck this guy keep trying to show us these magic tricks? And then it clicked to me that night. Because I'm watching the guy, he's doing it right in front of us, but he's creating the illusion like he moving the cards. He's doing something with the cards, and he's moving the cards, and he puts the card under the glass, and he's doing it right in front of us, but none of us see him. Like, he's doing something else with this hand that you can't even see what he's doing with this hand. And it was just, creating this illusion. And I was like, that's why he's doing this. Because I'm like, why would you keep doing this at a mastermind? And the next morning I asked him, and he was like, yeah, you're right. Because he was basically saying that that's what you have to, magic is power. You got to kind of perform magic tricks. Almost like how they say it. And I wouldn't say it is this. However, this is kind of like the way I look at it. Fake it till you make it kind of thing. When you out here and you're trying to talk to investors and brokers, and you may not have a deal under your belt, well, I'm not telling you to a lot of people, but however, you got to still walk with the confidence as if you got 5,000 doors under your belt, and that's the way I see that. You got to walk with that confidence with your chest out that, you know what? I am that person. Look at me, And so that's kind of what I took away from that, is that's what that magic brings. You got to create the magic in your life, and our life is like a movie. And I've always said this: our life is like a movie, and it's up to us to create the ending. We're creating the movie of our life. You see, energy flows to and through us, right? Everything you're looking at, the computer I'm looking at, this desk, this what do you call it, a credenza behind me, whatever it is, if you think about it on a scientific level, it looks hard, but it's not. It's just a bunch of atoms and molecules moving at a rapid speed of vibration, right? And then it makes the illusion that it appears to be a desk or a computer or a wall, for that matter. It's just how fast or how rapid the vibration is. So with that being said, that's what the uni in universe is. Uni mean one. It's one verse. So we're all connected and all the same. So this energy from the universe flows to and through you. Perception. Perception is what determines what you believe that thought is. It's almost like somebody says, what's up? Now you could take it as, man, did this person just say what's up? Like they want a problem with me? Or you could say like, oh, he said what's up, like how you doing? It's perception, you see? And that's everything in life, is how you perceive it. So something that might not seem like an opportunity, something that might seem like it might seem like a disappointment. Like it might seem like something's wrong, and then there might be an opportunity hidden in that that's a gem to take you to the next level. But if you're looking at it from a negative point of view and a negative perception, you'll never see the opportunity. But if you try to look for the good in everything and say, how can this serve me? What is the lesson here? Then you'll find the good and it'll propel you to the next level. And these are the type of things and the type of mindset that I've learned from people such as this gentleman here. So it was a blessing just to be around him, and not only that, just seeing how he interacts, and then so that's just on like a business side of things, and then seeing how he interacts with his family, on a family side of things. It's like, okay, like I was raised in a household, you had to be tough, and I kind of realized I'm kind of putting a lot of that on my son, even though I want the best for my son, but it's like I didn't grow up in a huggy, kissy type household. Like men, we don't do that. The women do that, but the men, we don't do that. We gotta be macho. And I'm realizing I don't have to be that way. And I hate to say I'm kind of embarrassed, especially because we're recording this, but I'm just gonna keep it 1,000%. There was times like my son will hug me, like, and kiss me, and because of how screwed up my head is, I would get this weird feeling like it wasn't right because I never got that from my family. You know what I mean? And, watching him interact with his children, with his sons and his daughter. And I just, I sit back and was like, you know what? It's okay. You don't have to be that way. And so that felt good too. And last but not least, you know, every time we left his house, we were hopping in a Rolls Royce. That ruined me. I've been on Car Gurus every single night looking at Rolls Royces for sale. And I got a goal to buy one now. I mean, that ruined me. Ruined me. That was fun. And he was shocked when he seen my car. I showed him my lowrider. He's like, you know what? Bring it down. I want to drive in your lowrider. I have a '64 Impala that was actually in magazines. Like it's a show car. The whole underside of the car is chrome. Everything's chrome and paint, and it's the cars that you see in the videos and things like that. And he's like, yeah, bring it in, bring it down. I'm like, yeah. I said, hey, I like your Rolls Royce. You like mine. We'll take a trade for a day. Although I got to second guess that because I love my Impala. So I mean, at this point, what I would want to do, only other thing I was going to show you guys is wanted to show you guys maybe if I could find a video of maybe me eating the fire or my daughter eating the fire, and show you guys like that so you guys get an idea of what go on. So I'm going to share my screen. Max, I'm going to ask that you keep your finger close to the record button, so when I open my pictures, if there's something that you guys are not supposed to be looking at, everybody close their eyes, and Max, stop recording immediately. All right, so I'm gonna. I don't even know.
All right, I'm ready. Yeah, I hear you. I know. I'm always afraid of that. Yeah, I hear you.
And that's another thing he teaches. Funny is money. You want to, and it got a lot deeper at his house. Like he talked about, what did he say? Sex, money, and power. That was weird too, because I'm not used to like just talking to people about sex, besides my wife. And that was weird. And he was just openly talking about it. And then he was like, and then somebody asked, how the hell does this relate to my business? And he was like, man, if your sexual relationship is not right, then your business relationship, your money cannot flow. Like all of this is related to energy sources in the universe. I never looked at it like that. I was like, wow, he's got a point with saying that. So I thought that was interesting too. So yeah, let me show you guys. See if I can. All right, let's see.
And what you could do is you could I was gonna say you could turn. Oh, maybe it doesn't work that way.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it is opening.
All right. Don't worry, I was just joking.
Okay. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. Any pictures I don't want you guys to see, I've already hit them. All right, let's see here. So this is my pictures. Oh, look. this is me breaking the board here. Let's see if we could watch this one here. I don't know how to make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. All right, can you guys see that? Uh-oh. It doesn't want to sync because it's from my phone. So, uh-oh, it's not working. Oh, well, that won't work. Let's see. Let's go back. Maybe I'll see if I can get my daughters to work. Well, that's a fail. She looked scared because she's about to break the board. She didn't think she could do it, and then she did it. Now, I wish I had a picture of her face after she did it. But for some reason, those videos are not working. I hope this one works because it's from my phone, and it's the iComputer, the Mac, or whatever you call it, is supposed to sync with the phone, and it's not syncing with the phone. So this is when we was getting ready to eat the fire. This was my daughter eating the fire. I was eating the fire, and this is the gentleman Marcel Silva here, and but for some reason I can't. Well, this is the picture I saved on my phone where it shows me swallowing that fire right there. But I wish I could get this video to work. I mean, I really apologize. It's not working because that would have been super, super cool for you guys to see.
I'm tempted to say play it on your phone and just hold your phone stable up to the computer camera.
Oh, you know what I can do actually? What I could do is find it on my phone, and then I could log in from my phone and then share it from my phone.
We're doing fine on time, yeah. So we have time for you to do that. Go ahead.
All right. Give me a second here. Let me cue it up. So, actually, okay. Let's see here. So I'm gonna show you guys some pictures of the event too. How about that? So, I was having a good time. So I'll start here. Let me see. Let me see if I can log into the meeting from my phone. See how this works. I never did this before, so we'll see how this works. Okay, so I'm gonna mute this one. Oh wow. Uh-oh. That don't sound right. Hold on. Okay, can you guys hear me or is that echo? Is that echo?
Yeah, it's reverbing. If you hit mute on one of them, it should stop that. So hit mute on your screen, David, and then, oh no, that's not going to work. You'd have to, no, you could play the video.
All right, this is what I'll do is I'm just going to show the videos and then I'll talk afterwards. All right, guys. You guys probably couldn't hear me talking, but if you guys would notice, first I want to say, first off, I'm sorry. I have 1,000,001 pictures in my phone. I couldn't find it, and I know you guys probably seen a lot of watches. I do sell watches, so if you guys ever want to buy a boat,
I
you can buy
do.
it. I sell Rolexes and all kind of stuff. You know, it's kind of a hobby of mine. But you know, I don't know if you guys noticed on that last video when I was going to eat the fire, I actually hesitated. And he started, I don't think you guys can hear the volume, but he started screaming at me. He was like, close your mouth, close your mouth. And I just kept, I was just shocked. And it actually burnt the top of my lip. And because he was like, and then he just yelled at me. He said, close your mouth. And I said, I closed it. And then the fire went out. Because what it does is, once you put it in your mouth and you close your mouth, it cuts off the oxygen that the oxygen is needed for the flame to go. And that's how the fire gets put out, which creates that illusion that you're eating fire. And so it just was a reminder that your first thought's always the right. Your first thought's always the right thought. So don't hesitate through life. You know, if you hesitate, you're gonna burn your lip. Don't burn your lip. You know, and that's what I learned from that lesson. Because man, a few hours later, my lip hurt. I was like, dang. I said, what? My daughter was laughing at me. She's like, you didn't do it. And I was, because I got nervous. Even though I did it before, I got nervous, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, I got nervous." So yeah, so you know, it's a little bit into my life, what I got going on. So I guess if anybody has any questions, let me know. And also, you know, I'm able check out that link in the check out this link that I sent here. And if you guys are interested in going to the Turning Point, let me know because I could get you a discount. I got the hookup. So you know, normally the tickets are like $1,200. I think they're doing one at the end of this month of down in San Diego, and so you guys can feel free to check that out if you want. I mean, I think they do them every month. They also do them virtual too, so you can come in live and actually eat the fire, break the boards in person, or you can do it virtually. I don't know how that break the board and eat the fire will work virtually, but I guess you could watch everybody else do it. But if you guys are interested, I could get you a discount on the tickets. I mean, I have to talk to him to see what kind of discount it is. But we became really good friends, and so it was just a blessing to have this man in my life. And thank you. So, any questions, if you guys have them, I'll be sure to answer them.
I don't have a question, but it's just so funny this topic tonight about going to seminars and edifying yourself because I was in this conversation with one of my team today too. We're having, you know, a lot of people leaving work, a lot of people that are resigning. And I was saying, if I get one of those positions, that's one of the first thing I would let people do is either to edify themselves by going to, well, I know they're not going to go to those seminars, but reading books like what we have done, because that propel you to another level.
Yeah,
So it just in line with what you're saying, going to seminars and just edifying yourself because it puts you into another space. And that's exactly what I was talking to people about today, where in which you have to edify yourself. You can't just live on the same tangent, do the old things and expect that to last.
that's right. That's right. It's
Mm.
true. I mean, so you know, a wise man once told me. He said, "Either you're green, you're growing, or you're ripe, you're rotten." So you gotta stay.
Right.
You know, I mean, knowledge is infinite, so you can never stop learning. There's always
Hmm.
something. Even when you think you know it all, there's always something else to learn. And so, you know, I mean, for me, that's why I'm constantly educating myself. Energy does not stay the same. It's either moving forwards, and if you think you're staying the same, you're actually moving backwards. So therefore, you're dying. You're actually like going in a worse position. If you think everything's just staying the same, like people with that mindset that just I'm just gonna go to work day to day. You know, like, and this is just from a business standpoint because it's not just about money. It's not just about business. It's not just about money and work. It's also about relationships. It's about your health. It's about everything in life. Everything's either moving forward or moving backwards. Nothing
Hmm.
stays the same, you know? So I'm gonna just use work for example. You know, so you got some people that's, yeah, I'm just gonna go to work and life will be all right. Now give me a little check, pay my bills. Well, that's not for me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because just with inflation alone, you're losing money every year.
Right.
They're paying you the same amount of money every year, and every
Yeah.
year inflation, that the dollar's getting inflated. You're losing money
Mm-hmm.
every single year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I kind of look at that. So, absolutely, you got to constantly continue to educate yourself. One other thing I forgot to mention too, that's actually very important, especially to everybody on this call, since we're all RE mentor students, is that this man is the one that trained Dave Lindahl to be a public speaker. He trained Dave Lindahl to be a public speaker, and I didn't find that out till over the weekend. And I told him I was in, I said I studied RE mentor and into the multifamily, and he was like, oh, RE mentor, I'm familiar. And I said, oh, you know about him, Dave Lindahl? He's like, man, I trained Dave Lindahl. I said, what? He's like, yep. Trained him as well as Dan Merrill. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dan Merrill, Fortune Builders. You check out fortunebuilders.com. They teach about flipping and wholesaling. He trained Dan Merrill as well. He trained Dave Lindahl and Dan Merrill to speak. So that's actually saying something about the man, which is really cool. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question. Sure. Dave, you and I talked, and if I recall correctly, you correct me if I'm wrong. At heart, you're an introverted person. So, and you probably said this in so many words already, but this training or trainings like this were instrumental to making you the way you are now, the growth you've experienced from the time you started off on this journey up till now.
Yes, absolutely, 1,000%. I've always, growing up, I was always real shy. I was never good with the ladies. You know how some people are like, man, I had like 20 girlfriends in high school. That wasn't me. I was always extremely, extremely shy. That's how I was. I was just kind of like a thinker type of person. I was always daydreaming. And so I was very, very introverted. Yeah, I still am. I still am very introverted. And then I started learning how to turn it off and on. And then actually over the weekend, it's funny you brought that up because he told me something over the weekend. Because those of you that was at UP met my wife and know that my wife's very outgoing. Like that's always been her energy. That's what attracted me to her because I'm real introverted, quiet, and she was more outgoing, boisterous type attitude, And so kind of like a lot of times it kind of complements one another when we go to events and things because she's a real people's person talking to people, and then she'll reel them into me, and then I could talk to them about business, and then we could see how we could do business together. However, Marshall said something to me over the weekend. I told him that same line. And he was like, stop telling yourself that you're not a people's person. You are a people's person because you are what you say you are. Think about it. Spelling. What's the root word to spelling? Spell. That's how you say somebody. You cast a spell on somebody because of the words you say. Words have power. So you got to be careful with words you say. If you say I'm broke, you'll be broke. If you say I'm wealthy, you'll be wealthy. And I know this sounds like a lot of BS. Man, it's reality, and I don't care what nobody say. Nobody could change my mind about that. You guys could believe what you want. I'm going to believe what I want because it's been working good for me. So, it is what it is. So you got to be very careful with the words you say. So he said, you got to say that you are an outgoing person. You do have charisma, and he's right, I do. Because if you know how to turn it off and turn it on, then you already have it. You just got to stay in that state. And then he gave me an example of himself in his younger years as a speaker. He said, I would be this charismatic person on stage. And then when I come off the stage, all the girls was like, oh, we're going to take him go out with him. He's this guy on the stage, this speaker and, doing all these things. Because this was back, maybe I think late 80s, early 90s when he was young. And he was even on the Dave Letterman show and all of that. So he was kind of famous at the time. And he would say, then they would go on a date and he wouldn't know what to say because he was actually really shy and introverted too. And he just knew how to turn it on the stage and be this powerful, charismatic, confident person on stage. And then when he got off the stage, he'll be on. A girl ask him to dinner. He'd go to dinner with him after the show, or whatever. And then he'd be sitting there quietly, and they'd just be sitting there like, and he'd be like, "What's wrong?" And they'd be like, "I don't know who this is I'm sitting at the table with, but this is not the person I just seen on stage a few hours ago." You know? And at that point, he said he realized that you can be anybody you want to be. You just got to stay in that state. You know what I mean? You got to choose to be that person. And it's real. That is so true. You know? So, yeah, I believe, to answer your question, yes, it's events like this and others that are very, very influential on who I am today. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I can talk about myself for a little bit if you guys like.
Well, so number one, David, awesome. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, I guess it's two questions. You said your Dave. You said your daughter is in college.
Well, she was in her last year and decided to take a break.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is she following you in real estate?
Hopefully. I signed her. It's funny you mentioned that. I actually just sent back the form today. I mean, so she's going to UP. I don't think she knows it yet, but she's going to
UP. How old is she?
22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 22.
God bless, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I mean, so I have 3 children. My oldest daughter's 22. My younger daughter's 18. And my son is 12. And out of the 3 children, I must say, nobody admits it, right? Nobody admits, like we all say our children equal. And don't get me wrong, I love all my children the same. They all have a special place in my heart. You know, my younger daughter, she's a real caring personality. She's like loving, caring, nurturing type person. So like she brings that to the table, and I love that. My son, you know, he's the boy. You know, what can I say? You know, boys will be boys. That's my little partner right there. My oldest daughter, though, I have a special place in my heart for her because, you know, when my wife got pregnant with her, I was only 17 years old when she was born. I was 18 years old, so I was just a kid, and I've been living on my own since I was 17. So I was just a kid trying to figure life out when she was born. You know, so we went through life figuring it out together. So if there's any, no, what I could basically say is like my son, he's young, he's so young that he was pretty much born with a silver spoon in his mouth. My daughter remembered those times when things were really, really rough, when we didn't have pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, if you know what I mean. You know, there was times in my life where it was really, really, I was really in a dark place. You know, and I'm not just talking about, I mean, I'm open about it now, but I'm not just talking about money. I'm just talking about who I was as a person. You know, I was a dark person. I was into a lot of deep stuff, man, that was bad. And, you know, I'm pretty sure she remembers that because I had her so young. So because of that, she watched me grow, and in turn, I watched her grow. And that's why I always just have a soft spot for her in my heart.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so I mean, yeah, I would just suggest everybody here on the call just, you know, you get some time, copy and paste that maybe in your notepad or into your browser, save it, and just check it out. Because, I mean, I'll tell you, it's influential for changing. These type of seminars are influential in changing my life, and changing my mindset, not just financially, but just my mindset, relationships, everything, everything. It's just influential in changing the person that I am today. You know, so yeah.
All right, how are we doing with questions? Every time I open up my mic, then somebody comes up with a couple more. So I'm thinking there's possibly a couple more. All right, so go ahead, Darnell. There you go. Nope, do it.
All right. I was gonna ask David. As far what was the gentleman's name again? This event you went to? You told me about him before.
His name's Marshall Silver.
Okay.
Yeah, Silver with Sylver.
Okay. Are those events? I guess they're primarily on the West Coast, right?
No, actually, he does them all over the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just go to the West Coast events because I'm on the West Coast.
Right.
I think he has one coming up in Florida. I think there's one coming up in Missouri. We have to check. I think the website is certainty.com. Let me look that up. Certainty. But I can find out if anybody's interested in attending any of these events. Like I said, I could get a discount, and you let me know, and then I can find out the dates and everything for you. I'll just call his office. I can't remember the exact website, you know.
I think I got the link to the website on Anthrobank. You know, that supplier list you were looking in? I think Marshall's in there and the website link is in there.
Yeah, it's probably is in there. Yeah. So, I mean, people like him, people like, has been influential in my life. People like Tony Robbins. I've been to a lot of Tony Robbins events. I'm actually going to, hopefully, if they don't cancel it, we were supposed to go 2 years ago. To Fiji, myself and my wife are going to Fiji to a Tony Robbins event in May. You know, Bob Proctor played a major part in my life. You know, he died last week, I actually got really sad. I never met the man. But do you know why? Because there was a time when I was in like dark place and just found him on YouTube, and certain things he said, it just resonated with me, you know, and it changed me. So, you know, I'm big on mindset. Like most of the books I have are mindset books than business. I have business books. I have a lot of real estate books, but most of the books I read are about mindset.
Nice. Okay, and then I'm going to start chiming in here. We're doing good on time, but we got maybe 10 more minutes. You know, one of the aspects of the Geek group that you know, David is modeling and Cabrin has too, but I want to just remind Pedro and Charmaine and Adler and Mary and Darnell, one of the things I'd love for you guys to do is think up a topic that you can present to the Geek group and take the opportunity to sort of stretch yourself. And it can be almost any topic, something you love, something you're great at, something you like, something you've been to, anything like this where we can get you to do a presentation yourself. Then I think you're pushing yourself to sort of move into a new role of the teacher always seems to learn more than the students sometimes. It's sort of an old idea. And what you try to do as the teacher is to get the students to become teachers. Right? So if you can push yourself into that role, I think you can move through that. And then I'm the one that's always with David going, hey, go to more events. You know, I think I went to 3 or 4 in the last 4 months. I'm going to another one. I was just talking to Tyler last night. We're going to the Joe Fairless event in Colorado. That's in 2 weeks from now. So we'll be at that. And I encourage you to team up with the Geek group members and travel together if possible. If you go to those events, you know, I was at an event with a Geek group member. We traded business cards, right? So you go and meet people, and then you trade business cards, and now you met double the people. So you can work as a team to meet more people and possibly make more contacts. And then I want to remind you something that Kiyosaki says, you know, if you go out and get that college degree, it's not tax deductible, but all these seminars you're going to are tax deductions. So, you know, right? He's pointing out that the rich understand this distinction. They'll go to trainings and seminars all year long, all of it a business expense. Those college degrees that kids are going and buying at high prices and taking on debt for, none of it's tax deductible. And in fact, if they're taking those student loans, they don't even disappear in bankruptcy. So you think about the difference between what the rich know and what the non-rich know, and it's those little things. I started to share, I think I'm going to a Michael Blanc event in June, and I think I'm going to a multi-mindset event in April, and I shared my calendar contacts with you guys. You can just say no to those if they're cluttering up your calendar. Just say no and they'll disappear. But otherwise, you might want to consider those dates, and maybe those are ones we can travel to, and maybe you want to send me the dates of things you can do if you're Like, David's headed out to an event somewhere and you guys just go, hey, shoot me a text and let me see if I can put that on the calendar of someone going somewhere, and seeing if I can share that with you guys more, and maybe you can find ways to travel and share those experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm gonna strive to make it down to that event at the end of the month. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna be able to make it. Also, remember I told you about the gentleman that does the Airbnbs. Well, he's putting on an event in Tampa. I think it's next weekend. The name of his course is, you can check him out too. It's called the Airbnb Cookbook. And if you reach out to him, just say I sent you, so that way I put in more brownie points for me. So that's my buddy though. So yeah, any events I go to, I'll definitely would share to the group or the group text, so everybody's aware of that.
Awesome. And then probably we'll end a little bit earlier unless you guys got some questions, but just from my perspective, and something I've learned over the past 5 years, is just what David's modeling is this idea of authenticity. Talking about the truth of our lives and telling how we feel about it and telling the places we've been, and all that is very real. I think it's more real than any other thing in a relationship, is just the idea that you tell the truth about who we are and where we've been and the difficulties we've encountered. And I think that's sort of a challenge for a lot of us that grew up in certain cultures and environments where we were taught, hey, you don't share your feelings. Hey, that's a sign of weakness. Hey, this is going to, in our household, we fight it. We're strong. Sort of these different perspectives that all they do is bottle that stuff up inside us and make us weaker. Actually sharing out those feelings and being genuine is what draws people to you and makes them, closer friends than brothers can be, type thing. So I appreciate you modeling that, David, and I think that's one of the advantages of the Geek group too, is you're in a place where vulnerability is accepted and encouraged as a sign of strength. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, so a lot of times we worry about people judging us. That's one. What's somebody else gonna say? And you know what I realized? I don't need anybody's approval. I'm me. And I'm the only me I can be. Not the me you want me to be, not the me my wife want me to be, or anybody else want me to be. I can only be me. The me that I choose to be. And I don't need nobody's approval. And that was another thing I learned from Marcel Silva again. You don't need nobody's approval to live your life. You can live your life the way you want to live your life. I am a little bit different. Some people say I had another investor. Another investor say I kind of come off a little bit like a thug. I mean, again, I had a rocky past. What do you want from me? I'm not that person now. But I am who I am, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world, because all of these things that I've been through made me the person that I am today. And I love who I am today. And those that don't like it, you know where you could go.
Nice. Okay, before we go on Rate and Wrap, yes, one of those books we read, I forget which one right now, but said that people react to diversity in 3 ways. One, the major traumatic event in their life makes them worse of a person and they're lesser afterwards. 2, they're the same person they were before that. And 3 is the reaction that it not only makes them a better person, but it's such a change that they wouldn't go back and change the traumatic experience because it has now formed who they are. And I think that's exactly what you're describing there, David. And that's what I think we're all striving to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. We're a few minutes early. I hope that's okay with you all. Let's go unmute, go back to the document. Let's rate and wrap and proceed with the weekend. All right, mine's up first, so I'm reading it. I'm a 10. Dave?
I'm biased. I'm an 11.
Nice. Awesome. Pedro?
Dave, you're a 10, and ain't no wrong being a thug.
And remember, you're not rating the person, you're rating the meeting. So awesome. Thank you for that, Pedro. Darnell?
10.
There you go. Nice. Who am I missing? Charmaine? Mute.
All right, a 10.
Nice. Adler?
9.9.
Nice. What's that 0.1 sliver in there? Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Cabrin, if you're able to unmute.
I give it a 9. Thanks, David. Too inspiration.
Thank you. Thank
Nice.
you.
Awesome. Okay. Unless I missed anybody, go ahead, Mary.
I'll give it a 10. I can't never
Thank
find
you.
the thing.
That's all right. Hey, interrupt me. You know the drill. Just interrupt me. You know how it goes. Don't let me forget anybody. I appreciate you.
Mindset.
Did you guys see I'm wearing my Ram shirt? Oh, okay. I just thought I'd get that in there at the last time. I'm from LA. What are you gonna do? All right, you guys.
They might get it.
All right. I wish prosperity upon you all. Go ahead, Charmaine. Say it one more time.
I said there's only going to be one winner.
I went to the University of Cincinnati too, so I got a place in my heart for that also, for the Bengals.
Awesome.
Okay.
I don't know. The
right,
Rams
guys.
not going to lose at their stadium. That's all I'm going to say.
Nice.
They're not going to lose.
All right. I appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, and we will see you later. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Right. Thank you. Thank you,
All right,
guys.
see you, everybody.
Bye-bye.